Welcome to the Trying to Be Better podcast with Joel and Steve.
Steve's giving me shit. Steve, I jump on the Zoom and Steve automatically starts critiquing.
I can't. Well, if you saw him, you would understand why I'm critiquing.
I'm wearing a sleeveless shirt.
Joel just came from a Kid Rock show.
I saw Kid Rock at a mega church here in Lincoln as a part of a political rally, and I wear the appropriate attire.
You wore the required uniform.
I wore the required uniform. I've got my old school Burlington Northern hat on and a sleeveless shirt.
You look great, man.
Dude, I walked Maven this morning because it's going to be like 100,000 degrees out this afternoon.
You know what I'm doing this afternoon at 1 o'clock when it's going to be like blisteringly hot?
You're going to the pool, aren't you?
I'm hoping friend and past TTB guest Chris Steffen move a shed.
Oh.
He's having like a shed moving party. It's like this giant shed thing, and he's got hopefully around 30 people coming over. And he's got like handles attached to it. And we're all going to pick it up and move it like an Amish barn moving thing. Mm-hmm. I swear to God, Chris, I know this event is going to happen after this goes live, but if there's only 15 people there when I get there, there's going to be 14 because I'm turning around and leaving. There's no way, but I'm not injuring myself for this shed.
Screw this shed.
Exactly.
This is some bullshit.
Some bullshit. That's exactly right. Uh-huh.
I'm glad that you picked the hottest part of the day too.
Right. It's great. Well, I think when he made the plans, he was probably thinking that it would be like 77.
Yeah, that's a reasonable amount of temperature.
Not 102. Which it's going to be. It's going to be hot.
What are you going to do? You're just going to like roll back to your living quarters and to just walk into the pool with your clothes on?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, that actually might not be a bad idea.
Yeah. I mean, theoretically, sure. Uh-huh.
Well, Steve's critiquing my work, my podcast attire, which
it was not one of your usual ensembles.
No, it's not.
It's not. No. Mm-mm.
No, it's not.
You look like like at a truck stop trolling for lot lizards.
with the Bluetooth headset on, walking around, looking at all the chrome accoutrement I can put on my rig.
Right. Yep.
Buying a 3 foot by 6 inch slab of beef jerky.
If you're lucky.
They have those at that truck stop in Nebraska City.
Love that.
It's awesome.
Have you ever been to Buc-ee's? You know what Buc-ee's is?
I know what Buc-ee's is, but I've never been to Buc-ee's. It looks like a really great time.
It's a truck stop the size of a super Target.
I'm in.
And the one that I've been to, which is just north of Dallas a little ways, literally has its own like interchange.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's huge. There's, I don't know, 100 gas pumps. They just go on forever. Yeah. Oh, it might be a little high, but not by much.
Well, there's a Buc-ee's. I think my sister was telling me that they put a Buc-ee's in somewhere in Denver. There's a Buc-ee's out there.
That tracks.
And so I kind of want to experience this. I guess.
So here's the thing. It's a big truck stop. You know what I'm saying?
It's nothing special.
I mean, other than the sheer grand. Oh, so what Buc-ee's does to differentiate themselves is three things, maybe. One, size, huge.
Okay.
Super Target size, like really, really big.
Mm-hmm.
B, cleanliness. Like that's one of the things. Like the bathrooms are gigantic and spotless.
I'm here for that.
That's what I'm saying. And then like everything is very well like merchandised, marketed, like merchandise, like everything's fronted. And this is the old retail worker in me, but like everything looks really good all the time. So it's like you walk in and it's this overwhelming, like you just get that's a thing. And like, especially in the grocery business where things are intentionally laid out to kind of lull you into a sense of like, oh, this is really
Yeah.
like orderly, and like I think I'm gonna stay here and spend some money, you know.
Yep. It's the
And
Disneyland of truck stops.
that's kind of exactly it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And like, the never like the fountain pop department where it's like every fountain
The
pop.
wing.
Yeah, pretty much, just like 40 spigots.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's quite an experience. Mm-hmm.
I want to try this out.
Well, basically, you're gonna go in, you're gonna buy, your slab of beef jerky and a barbecue sandwich and an iced tea and head out, and you'll think,
Maybe. Well, don't they have like the Bucky's logo? They have like merchandise and like
oh, I'm
hats,
sure. I
you know?
imagine you can buy all
Yeah.
that. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not really into the whole paying extra money to advertise something for a company thing,
Yeah,
unless
I get it.
unless it's a band I like, But
Yeah, I get it. Well, yeah, well, I get to go to Denver for a work trip
oh,
the end of the semester, and I always try to plan a concert. Maybe instead of my concert, I'll just go wander around the Bucky's there.
go to a concert.
Yeah.
If you happen across the Bucky's, then go in. It's
I'm
it's
hoping there's
not
some.
worth ditching a concert to go to Bucky's.
I was looking in to see that on the Bands in Town app
Uh-huh.
uh, to see who was playing in that weekend, and there's not a lot of choices, but I'm
Oh,
sure I can find something. But there's a band called Shovels and Rope that are going to play, and I'd kind of like to see them. But there was 2 years in a row. One year I saw
Andy Frasco.
well, yeah, J-Rad.
Oh
That
yeah,
was,
yeah.
yeah, I went and saw J-Rad at the First Bank Center, and then the next year was Andy Frasco. So
You're not gonna top
look,
that.
no, no. And then the year after that was Couch. That was a fun time.
Oh sure.
But
When I was out in oh yeah, I was in San Francisco last weekend.
oh yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Okay, hold on. We need to go. We need to start with that.
Okay,
Like,
fine.
I really want to hear. I don't think I've really unpacked all the. I mean, you've
Oh, good
texted
Lord.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but tell us about it.
So, like 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago, I happened to stumble across this Facebook event where Phil Lesh, formerly the Grateful Dead, was playing with his son, Graham, who's effectively his band leader now, and Holly Bowling on keyboards. Just this little show in this park, this beach park up in Marin County. And 5 minutes later, I had a ticket. Like it was just like, oh, I'm going to that. And
Hmm.
15 minutes later, I had an airline ticket, and we'll figure out all the rest later. So I flew out to San Francisco from Omaha Saturday, get there like early afternoon on Saturday. And then I was just gonna hang out in San Francisco, go do the 710 Ashbury thing, wander around, just hang out,
Hmm.
see where the wind blew me in
Hmm.
San Francisco, and then get up and drive to Marin the next morning because the show was a daytime thing from 11 to 6, right?
Yeah, right.
So I think, great. So sometime before, like a couple days before I'm supposed to leave, an old friend, Mr. Chris Meek, was like, "Hey, so are you going to see Billy Strings at the Greek? He's playing Saturday night."
Yeah.
And I had no idea that was happening because I don't really pay attention. And I looked and there were still tickets that were reasonably priced. I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm doing that, you know.
So,
And
how
then
perfect was that?
it was really great actually. And then also after that, a couple blocks from my motel is the UC Berkeley Theater where Sam Grissman, who is Dave Grissman's son,
Mhm.
um, was having an after party thing with
Mhm.
Peter Rowan, formerly of Old and in the Way,
Mm.
who's like 80 something and kind of looks it, but he did just fine. Um, so that was like, well, I guess I'll go to that too. So I got a ticket for that. But yeah, I mean, the last time I was at the Greek Theater, I've been there twice. The first was Halloween of 1992. No, not Halloween. It would have been whatever. It was in 92. I saw David Byrne, formerly of the Talking Heads there. That
Oh
was
yeah,
amazing.
you've talked about that show before, and
That's
that sounds
another
like
it's
yeah.
another story in and of itself. And the second time was in August of 93. I saw my first Fish concert there.
Oh, at the Greek.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And it was that was hot off the heels of three kind of tepid Grateful Dead concerts. I mean, they were fine, but
Mhm.
and Fish
Mhm.
just it was amazing. JJ
Yeah.
Cale opened the show and he wrote things like After Midnight,
Mm-hmm.
Cocaine, both of
Mm-hmm.
which that Eric Clapton then turned into mega hits. So that was cool. Anyway, so being back at the Greek after 30 years was really something. Um, it's just a phenomenal venue. And of course, I mean, Berkeley is this very complicated social environment.
Mm.
Um,
What do you mean by that?
I mean,
Complicated?
yeah, well, it's incredible income disparity, as is most of the Bay Area. You got
Mhm.
UCal Berkeley there, which is kind of a prestigious educational institution.
Yeah.
I mean, I sent you guys a picture. I think there was a row of parking that was all reserved for Nobel laureates.
Shit.
Like if you were a Nobel laureate, you could park there. If not, move on. Right?
Weird. That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Coupled with, there was some civil unrest there
Sure.
over the years.
Sure.
Black Panthers, you know,
Right.
coupled with, homelessness and
Mhm.
unhoused situations and just the general decay of our social uh uh security blanket.
Yeah. Right.
So that's
Yep.
all happening, you know.
Right.
It's
Right.
all so Berkeley's complicated, as is the most of the Bay Area, as is you know, big cities in America. But Berkeley's that's all kind of it's all very like obvious,
Yeah. Right.
and so it's just interesting. And then as kind of an aside, and I think I sent you guys this too, I posted on Facebook, but when I would go to Berkeley, when me and my friend Brett would stay at his friend Dave's place on I forget the name of the street, whatever, right down just like a few blocks from the UCal Berkeley campus. And Dave lived in this, it was like an efficiency apartment that
Hmm.
in 1992, 93 rented for $1,200 a month.
Hmm.
So that'd be like 3,500 a month now,
Right.
easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, like a very small place. And Dave was studying like Russian history or something.
Sure.
Only thing he ever had in his fridge was a loaf of rye bread and a 6-pack of Anchor Steam.
Well, I mean,
And
what else do you need though, really?
not a lot, really, because he was completely obsessed, like to the point of sweating about,
Yeah.
this history. And he did not care about the Grateful Dead or anything like that, but he allowed us to stay at his place as long as we kind of left him alone. Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I
And
got to study.
yeah, pretty much. And but just 2 doors down from his place was this donut shop, Kingpin Donuts. And
Yeah.
so we'd go down there and get donuts the morning after, and some
Yep.
coffee and kind of regroup a little bit.
Yeah.
And the fucking place is still open.
That was the best part. That was the best. Like when
It
you said that,
literally
I was like, there's no way that fucking place is still there.
still there.
And if it is called a donut, if it is still a donut shop,
It's gonna be
it's
like
gonna be
Dunkin'
something
or
else.
something.
Yeah. It's gonna be a
Same
Dunkin'
guy,
Donuts.
same owner.
Same owner.
Mm-hmm. And so that was awesome. The donuts were still the best, and it was just great. And
Nice.
so that really kind of made my day.
Yeah.
So anyway, saw Billy Strings.
How was that? Tell me, because this I've never seen him, and I've
I have
listened
not.
to him.
That was my first time actually seeing him. And I'll say, how do I want to say this succinctly? He's deserving of the accolades.
Because he's the guy.
He's the guy.
He's the guy right now. I mean,
is the unifier. He brings all his milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
that's so great. Well, I mean, like the guy gets invited to sit in with Tool and then sit in with Fish.
Right. Yeah.
And he plays with Billy and the Kids. And then
he covers, and he can do it all. Like that's just and the thing is, and I mentioned this to a friend and past guest Mike Semrad on a text thread. I'm like, unless he's a total and complete charlatan, like he's the guy.
He's not, but I don't think he is a charlatan.
I don't think he is either. I've listened to long form interviews with him. I've read interviews with him. I've read bios of him. Like he's from hard Scrabble existence. Like he did not grow up privileged.
No.
Right? He grew up fucking dirt poor, surrounded by drug addiction and just, really kind of extreme dysfunction.
Right. In rural Michigan.
Right? I'll have to get back to you on that one.
I think it is.
We'll have our intern look at that one.
Yeah, Sally, if you could do some research on Billy Strings' upbringing,
that'd be
great.
great.
Thanks, Sally.
But yeah, so now he's getting paid like $300,000 a show.
I know. But the thing is, like, he could easily be somebody who came from those very meager and tough circumstances, and then be rocketed into superstardom.
He could turn into JD Vance,
or like the shock to like Kurt Cobain, where he went from being this nothing punk to speaking for a generation, and it's like, I can't handle this.
Yeah,
I'm out. And so
no, Billy has navigated that with, well, I think he attributes this too to the fact that he doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs, he smokes some pot,
takes some mushrooms.
Yeah, and he's maintained a sense of gratitude and apparent relative humility so that's the other thing is like, so yeah, the Greek was great. And he can fill arenas with bluegrass.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I mean, so we'll stop there because that's a whole other, it's bluegrass plus.
Right.
But then, so I actually ducked out of that really late in the second set because I needed to go back to my motel real quick and get my cell phone charger because it was almost dead. And I need to, I'm dependent on that thing for navigation and communication. And plus my motel was just a couple blocks from the theater.
Right.
So I ducked out, went, got my phone thing, and then I went to the UCal Berkeley Theater, and Sam Grisman is just a delight. I love Sam Grisman.
So how old is Sam Grisman?
I don't know, 30 maybe.
Oh, okay.
But he reminds me a lot of Rick Danko from the band, minus all of the drug addiction problems.
Okay.
Really talented, super funny, just cool. And his band's great.
And his dad is no longer with us, right?
I think David's still around.
Is he?
I don't know.
That's what I was curious about.
Yeah, I can't remember. But anyway, yeah. So for those of you that aren't familiar with that situation, David Grisman and Jerry Garcia were longtime on and off collaborators. And Sam Grisman effectively grew up with Uncle Jerry when he was around.
Yeah, right.
You know, and so like that's all very, and Sam, so that was great. I really enjoyed that. Peter Rowan came out and sang like Midnight Moonlight and some other Panama Red and Lonesome LA Cowboy, and this is great. And then I started to I've been up since 6 o'clock local time. It's now like 12:31 in the morning. Like, I gotta go. Like, this is amazing, but I gotta get some sleep. Yeah. It's a lot. Like, it's been a long fucking day. I'm out. 10 minutes after I left, Billy Strings showed up.
Okay, so you missed the Billy Strings.
I missed it. Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, I did what I had to do. I don't feel bad about that.
Sure.
But it would have been cool. Just the fact that he came down from his pretty big gig at the Greek just to go play in this little theater with Peter Rowan. I'm sure is part of the reason why he came down,
Yeah.
Because Peter Rowan would have been one of his idols.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was cool. And then got up the next morning, got some donuts, and I went then drove up to Marin, and I hadn't been when I lived in Lake Tahoe. I went to Marin once. And it was in the middle of the night, and the circumstances are, shall I say, hazy. So I don't remember a ton about it.
Yeah. Well, also Marin County at night, like, you're not seeing the splendor, like
all I remember is driving across. I was following this girl, my friend Johnny Eagle. Hey, Johnny.
I met Johnny Eagle.
You met Johnny Eagle. Yeah. Broomfield. One of his friends. And she lived up in Marin, and we needed a place to stay after a Garcia band show at the Warfield, so we can come stay with us. Well, this is before cell phones. This is before GPS. You know what I'm saying? And we were all, we were doing great. And
doing really great.
Doing great. And
holding it together.
She's driving like a bat out of hell across the Golden Gate Bridge, and it's foggy, and we're doing like 95. Because if we lose her, that's it.
That's it. We're screwed. And sleeping in the car.
And so yeah, that was that experience. That was my first and only time across the Golden Gate Bridge to this. But anyway, so I meet my friend Sarah. Hi, Sarah, from Lake Tahoe, who now lives in Watsonville, California. She's a nurse and has horses, and we hadn't seen each other in 30 years. And I had an extra ticket, so I just threw I started messaging people, and she said she'd come up. I'm like, great. So we met for breakfast, and then we went to the park, and you saw the pictures.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It was amazing.
Palm trees.
The
it
bay.
was sunny and clear too, which is
Yes.
I wonder if that's like a rarity in that area, or maybe it does burn off up there. But sometimes, I mean, the bay can be
foggy,
can be foggy and dismal sometimes.
Especially in the summer. Weirdly. Right. Yeah, no, and maybe it's geographically situated, so I don't know. Whatever. It was a perfect day, and that's not hyperbole. It was a perfect day.
Yes.
And everybody there was nice. There was like maybe 1,500 people, maybe 2,000 tops.
Yeah. Yeah.
And tons of room. Everybody just respected each other's space. There was good food. I met some sober heads. I met these two guys that they were kind of sitting next to us. So we're talking. They started seeing shows together in 1985.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And they were still going, and they were still best friends.
That's awesome.
Right. And so, like, that was just a really nice day for them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Bill got COVID and couldn't play.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a bummer. But Sam Grisman, previously mentioned, filled in for him. And Sam's a great musician, and he did just fine.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because Phil loaned him Big Brown and his bass that he played, again, like, for example, on the Europe 72 tour.
Amazing.
So, a little kind of some history there. Well, about halfway through the set, Big Brown started glitching out.
Oh shit.
Right. And me and this other guy standing next to me, we just looked at each other and like almost at the same time said, so really nothing's changed.
It's doing what it's always done.
Pretty much. Yeah. But it's still got its original electronics in it. Like it's Bob Minkin posted pictures of the innards of it. And speaking of Bob Minkin, I got to meet him. Bob Minkin has been photographing the Grateful Dead and other Bay Area stuff for 40 years and more maybe. And he's the guy that when I was playing Guest of the Year knocked me out.
Yeah. He threw the curveball.
He did. He was the guest curator, and he threw a big curveball, and I whiffed it. And so he was like 10 feet away from me when we walked in and kind of put our blanket down or whatever. So got our space. And so I just went over, and I was wearing my Guest of the Year t-shirt.
Yeah.
So I went over to him and just introduced myself. And it took him a second to because he was working, he's getting his stuff out.
Right.
It took him a second to kind of lock in, but then once he realized who I was and what he had done to me.
Yeah.
he wasn't sad about it. He'd say, yeah, if I do that again, maybe I won't be as. I said, no, please. Like, that was great.
I mean, that's the
game.
That's the game from a bird's eye view. Like, that was interesting. I mean, it would suck to watch you go out, but at the same time, I was like, well, that's perfect. I mean,
exactly.
If you're gonna do it, I mean, you got to throw these heads some curveballs every once in a while.
Totally.
You can't just nail them all.
He said, like, what was I going to do? Play another 73 Eyes?
Yeah.
Like, no, I get it, man. So, like, no harm, no foul. And what kind of made that interaction for me is like, can I get a picture so I could send it to Mike?
Yeah, right.
And he's like, yeah, sure. So I got my camera up, and then I got really self-conscious. I go, well, wait, you're the photographer. He goes, not right now. I'm not. You're the photographer. Like, you're the one holding the camera. And I was like, okay. So I took a quick selfie, and then I thanked him, and it was really cool. It's very nice to meet him. Cool guy.
And he's been photographing bands, including the Grateful Dead, since when did he start doing that? Because
his first. Like
80s?
His first pictures were taken with like an Instagram.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like he was a kid.
Wow.
Yeah, and then is gone, from there. And he also does like aerial photography. So cool. He has other things. But yeah, long time, 40 years. I don't know the exact.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bob Minkin photography. I should put that in the show notes just because it was just really cool to meet him. I mean, his pictures have informed my Grateful Dead journey for 40 years.
Yeah.
Ish,
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So I guess for me, 35, whatever, what I'm saying. Long time.
So what was your take on just the Bay Area being there after so long?
Well, again, it was kind of a fly by night deal. And one of the highlights for me was driving over the new Bay Bridge between San Fran and Oakland. because I mean, when I was there before, it was the old bridge, and that thing was terrifying. So yeah, that's new. And Berkeley hadn't, like, the feel of Berkeley hadn't really changed. I literally just drove through San Francisco twice.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you spend any time in the city?
I did not.
Yeah.
I thought about trying to get to 710 just to take the obligatory picture.
Right.
But both times, like, but that's gonna be pushing it. And I'm very glad that I didn't, because it would have been a shit show.
Yeah.
Just traffic. I do not miss that.
Yeah.
I think I texted you, like, it took me a half hour to go a half mile getting from San Francisco to Berkeley.
Yeah.
And then once that bottleneck fixed itself, then I was moving again. But, like, I don't miss that.
No.
And I don't miss I mean, San Francisco, especially, just the brief tour of it that I got, because I took like the Visadero coming through, the old 101 coming back. Because Sunday night we had dinner in Marin at this little hole in the wall pizza joint, which was perfect. And it was so funny. Sarah and I came out of the park, McNair's beach park, and we were kind of hungry. Like, so we're trying to figure out what to do. And I was kind of thinking that I'd like to go see 710 and do that. But she's like, well, I'm kind of hungry. Let's get some food. I said, fine, we'll do that. It's fine. And I mean, I've seen 710.
It's a house.
It's a house.
There it is.
Yeah. So so we got pizza, and then we went our separate ways, and I was driving. What the hell was the point? Oh, just the old 101. I was coming back across the Golden Gate, and there was a full moon out, so that was stunningly beautiful. The Golden Gate Bridge is amazing.
It's pretty amazing.
And then the old 101 goes on, I think it's to Visadero, which is one of the very, 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 very hilly, steep streets, like, that are world famous kind of thing. And that was like, that got my attention again. Like, I used to drive a stick shift on that thing.
Oh my God.
My old Isuzu Trooper, like, I don't know how I did it.
Oh God.
Right.
Like, you'd be at a stoplight, and it's like, you're like, 40% grade, and you're like, how do you?
And you can't see, like, it's so steep, you can't see the road that you're crossing.
And then you're like, I remember being there, and it was like, we were on one of those streets, and I think it was the last time we were there, which was, I don't know, not that long ago. It wasn't our honeymoon, but it was not that long ago. And I remember being like, God damn, like, this is hard to drive on these streets. And then I see this guy, this bike courier, just huffing it up. I'm like, okay, Jesus Christ.
Right. Yeah.
Like, okay, I'll shut up. I'm in a car. That guy's just working it on his bike.
One of the, I guess, most interesting things I saw, a sign of the times, was actually I saw a handful of the Waymo self-driving vehicles.
Really?
Yeah, they're out and about.
Weird.
They got cameras all over them. They're Jaguars.
Weird.
Yeah, it's intense. Like, they have no driver.
Oof.
Right. And that was interesting too, is that most of the billboards in San Francisco were about AI software technology. Yeah.
Huh.
Your AI solution, your AI, blah, 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 blah. So it was very like, oh, right, this is for Silicon Valley.
Yeah, right. Wow, dude. I'm glad I asked. I'm glad I got to unpack all of that with you, because it
was amazing.
It was a pretty,
like, cool... Sunday at the beach park was one of the best days of my life.
Yeah, dude. It's so cool.
It was just absolutely delightful. It was cool to reconnect with Sarah. Met some great people, heard some great music. It was perfect. It was just very, it's like, oh, right. This is, and the one thing, I think one takeaway is that, like I said, I'd never really been to San Rafael that I could remember. And so driving around it, and kind of just being in that town for a minute, like, that's dead central. That's where the Dead's offices were. That's where Front Street was. That's where, and that really colored in a lot of spaces.
Nice.
Just like, those guys lived there. They drove around there,
Yep.
I mean, so that was, and just to think that, like, this is where the office is. There was an office here, a couple of them actually.
Yeah.
The rehearsal space, the warehouse, like, that was just where that was home base.
Where is home base for that? Because that still exists, right? Where is that now? Is that still there?
I don't know if Front Street even exists anymore. Front Street was the rehearsal space and warehouse, and because the vault's all been moved to Rhino.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Right.
like I don't even know if Front Street exists anymore, and the office on Lincoln Street and all that. I didn't have time to try to even find any of that out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But but it was just really like, oh, because again, the weather was perfect. It was
Mhm.
just I just took a minute to kind of grok on that, you know,
Mhm.
like this is,
Mhm.
oh, this actually makes a lot of sense.
Well, yeah, and there's some cool. I mean, it's
And
like
then,
if you've been to the Haight, you've seen that, but like being in that area,
but the hate
it's different.
was very much it was like a blip.
Right.
It was like a year and a half,
Right.
right? It's the one
Yeah.
that got on all the magazine covers or whatever, but really in the timeline, it's a very small
And once
chunk.
the rest of the country knew about it, it was dead.
Yeah, right. This place
You
is
know.
dead anyway, man. Time to
I'll
get the
never.
hell out.
When Kirsten and I were there, we did do the Haight walk up and down and went to 710 because I think you suggested that to us. You got to go to 710 Ashbury, so we did that. But I just remember going to a place called the Pork Store Cafe right on Haight Street.
Yeah.
It was this hole in the wall like breakfast cafe place, and we ate like the greasiest, nastiest
Yeah.
breakfast ever. And when we did a little research, I'm like, that place has been around since the 60s, you know? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
fucking cool.
So
Well,
it hadn't been turned into a Starbucks,
not yet. It probably is
right?
now. I don't know, but
Or a
that was
Gap or a
2008, I guess.
H&M, Target.
H&M.
Yeah. Well, that's, the hate. I still think of the thing where, by the early 80s, there was somebody had written graffiti on the wall. It just said, "This is the AIDS of Aquarius."
Yeah.
It got kind of gnarly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, cool, man. I'm really glad you got to
Yeah.
have that
It was,
pilgrimage.
it's kind of what it was, actually.
Yeah, for sure. Even though the disappointment, of Phil being sick and not being able to play, like,
So I emailed, like I just responded to the email that said that. And
mhm,
I just said, "Hey, man, I'm coming from Lincoln, Nebraska to see this show.
mhm.
And I'm obviously disappointed that Phil isn't going to play, but I like shit happens, man. I'm not like
Yeah,
no harm,
yeah,
no foul. I'm just
yeah.
really looking forward to the event. And I know it's going to be great regardless. And please, send my well wishes to Phil and,
Mhm,
peace. Steve Bar,
mhm,
Lincoln, Nebraska."
mhm.
Like an hour later, Brian Lesh, Phil's son, responded
Yeah.
and just said, "Hey, wow, thanks for coming all this way." He's like, it's still going to be great. Sam Grisman's going to fill in. He's great. And we just appreciate your thoughts. And thanks a
Mhm,
lot, Brian.
mhm.
Like, that was really nice.
That's way cool.
Mhm. And Brian was there. He was hanging out. And because I think Brian is kind of like the day manager, the show manager, showrunner.
Sure, sure.
And so, yeah, I mean, it was just like really like there's still that family element
Yeah,
in the very,
yeah,
very realist sense of the word.
yeah.
Hmm.
Wow.
Hmm. Like it's
That's
still a
awesome.
thing, still happening.
Yep. That's cool, man. I'm really glad you got to do that. And thanks for indulging us with the
Sure.
story.
Well, yeah, thanks for indulging me. It was
Yeah.
really, really great.
Yeah, I knew that was kind of special. Like you were like, I think it's really cool that you just sort of said, fuck it, I'm going to that.
I'm going to that.
I'm going to that.
Yeah. I'm not,
Like,
yeah.
who cares? I'm going to that.
Yeah, it was great. It was totally worth everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very different deal, but we can't pod next week. I'm going to Chicago to see Pearl Jam at Wrigley. And it's like there's a part of me that if several years ago would have felt really like, oh, I can't go to that. I'm in the middle of a rehearsal process. I can't do this. It's like figure it out. Cause like
Figure it out.
this shit's figure it out because this shit's not gonna this party isn't gonna continue for very much longer, So
Yeah, well, I disagree.
that's true.
I know
That's
what you're
true.
saying. Like I get
Yeah,
it. I know what you're saying, but the party will continue.
the party
That's
will continue.
always the thing that, like, if you'd have told me on August 10th, 1995,
Mhm.
all the cool music stuff that would be happening in 2024, I would have just
Yeah.
been crying and you don't know what you're talking about. And like, no, it's like there's so much. Billy Strings, case in point.
Right. Right.
He's waving a different flag, but it's the flag.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah. He's waving his flag.
100%. And it's great.
Yeah.
I do like, there's a part, the thing that the most, like the whole Wook scene has definitely Like Billy's, like he literally had to stop a fight in front of the stage the next night.
Shit.
Right. And like I don't miss that because that was the
Yeah.
thing about the deal at the beach. There was none of that. There was
Yeah,
no
that's a different
there was
vibe.
no
Yeah.
nitrous, there was no stupidity. Everybody was exercising good personal hygiene. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't there was no dirt surfing element. Not that I
Yeah.
have not that there's a problem with that, but frankly, it was really nice to not have to deal with it.
Yeah, it was a nice Sunday in the park.
That's literally what it was. I could have brought my kids to that, no problem.
Right.
Billy Strings,
Right.
there were some kids there, but it's a little different situation.
Yeah.
It's R rated. It's for mature audiences.
Yeah. Yeah. What's that hissing noise, Dad? Well, we're gonna stay away from that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Where the deal at McNair's Beach was very much PG rated.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, Sunday during the day kind of
Yeah.
avoids. Yeah, you kind of avoid that.
But
Not
I mean,
always,
but it
but
was also just like it wasn't advertised as such.
mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a very small. I mean, the tickets were sold on Eventbrite.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was just anyway, there was a definite the scene was different.
Yeah.
And I frankly was pretty okay with it. It wasn't just the out of control bedlam off the rails in all directions party situation that we all know and love so well,
Yeah.
It was a mature thing.
It was a civilized show.
It really was. And I was
good.
Totally okay with that.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Colin and I are considering so we're going to Chicago Friday, and we are considering, I mean, Saturday's going to be, I don't know. There's a part of me that's like, am I going to regret not lining up at 7 a.m. to try to get on the rail? I don't think I am. I think I don't want to waste the whole.
You don't need to do that.
I don't want to waste the whole Saturday, like in Chicago.
Go see the city.
Yeah, Colin and I were going to go see the city. We're going to get some good coffee. There's, it's the first Saturday. There's a Husker bar there near Wrigley. We may go watch part of the Husker game and eat some food and then wander over to Wrigley. I mean, I have like,
do you have reserved seats or are you general admission?
I have general admission in the pit. So that is an option. If I wanted to ride the rail, we could do that. But I'm like, I don't really just want to. I don't know. Like, I don't think I want to do all that.
Here's where I'm at anymore with any of that. Cause so tomorrow I'm going to see Lindsey Sterling.
Oh yeah. That'll be great.
Well,
where's she at?
The Apollo or the, whatever the place is in La Vista, the Astro.
The Astro. It's like the Apollo, New York. You're going to Harlem?
No. I've been listening to some James Brown. That's where that came from. But I bought, like when tickets went on, I forgot all about it. It came up on my calendar this weekend. I'm like, oh, I got that. Okay. But I bought one. There was one single ticket in the middle of the front row.
Oh, nice.
The day they went on sale. So I just bought it.
Yeah. Nice.
And then forgot about it.
That'll be great though.
It'll be great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So Friday night, Colin and I are keeping our options open because there's Bikini Kill is playing at the Salt Shed in Chicago.
Okay.
Some 90s.
I would be curious to see what your take is on the Salt Shed. I hear mixed things.
Yeah, I'm curious about it. So we may go see Bikini Kill. And then I also saw that I said Saul. I also saw that Darren Keene is opening for Dan Deacon on Friday night in Chicago.
You need to go to that.
I feel like
that's where you should be. That's where you should be.
I mean, right?
Yeah. I feel like that will be where the action's at.
Just show up and be like, hey, we're here in Chicago. I mean, unless Darren listens to the pod, just kind of surprise the shit out of him and be like, hey man, I think that'd be fun.
I think it'll be amazing and probably pretty interesting. And that's where the action will be. That's where you should go.
Yeah. And then it's Pearl Jam at Wrigley Field. I'm just stoked. I mean, I kind of want to not be on the rail and have to worry about losing that spot because the weather could ruin that for everybody. And we have to like in 2013,
right?
But also just kind of standing back, and I get to stand in the outfield of Wrigley,
right?
I get to touch the ivy at some point.
That's the I think that's the money shot right there.
Right. You know what I mean? Kind of back up and take it all in.
Yeah. Yeah. And plus, I mean, how many times have you seen them?
Many.
You know what they look like. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be an elder statesman. Don't be a rail rider.
Right. Eddie Vedder's not going to kiss me on the mouth, right?
Well,
if I'm
maybe.
See, don't say shit like that, because then I'm like, well, what if he is feeling like kissing some random 44-year-old guy on the mouth?
I don't know, man. It's your call. Live your life.
It's just such an investment of all the time and energy to try to do that.
I have no interest in that.
I don't. The other thing too is like I'm at a certain age where I'm like, okay, if I'm holding the rail, what if I got to take a leak?
Right. That's like, so that's the thing. You can be up at the rail or you can enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Like there's no way that's a whole, right, like for the course of the 2.5 hour show, that's an enjoyable experience.
I mean, if everything works just exactly perfectly and you time your hydration and your bladder elimination just exactly perfectly, and the weather's fine, and you don't get surrounded by other assholes trying to do the exact same fucking thing that have less respect for other people than you do.
Yeah.
That's my biggest problem. Every time I'm up front one of those big shows, I'm just surrounded by people that I want to punch.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, if you're back and you have some room to move around, you'd be like, "Well, let's go over there.
Let's go over there."
This guy sucks.
Yeah, right.
This guy's been pounding.
There's always that guy.
Yeah, this guy's been pounding old style since 7 a.m. in line. I don't want to. Yeah, no. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm glad I worked that out with you on the pod.
Yeah, just go stand in back and have a good time.
Yeah.
They got screens. They've got screens.
Well, I mean, if you like the overall, like realistically, my seats are in the general admission pit, which is in front of all the floor seating. So even if I'm at the back of the pit, I'm
great.
I'm ahead of 90% of Wrigley Field.
I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think I'll be okay.
I think you'll be okay. That'll be great. Yeah, you don't want to ride the rail.
I don't think I do.
Not at that kind of situation.
No.
Too much of a hassle.
It's a lot.
Because then you get up there, because what you own owns you.
That's right, man.
You get up there and you have your space. Like, this is my space. And then you have to defend it and protect it and be all possessive of it. Because I was standing here for 4 fucking hours and here comes some random drunken asshole.
Yeah.
This one to talk about. Remember 2013?
Somebody pissing on your shoe because they're refusing to go to the porta potty.
Right. The whole thing. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, no. I'm out on that.
See,
I'm out on that. I want to wander around. I want to go get a soda. You know, like I want to be free. I don't want the space to own me. You know,
this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So did you know now, I've been meeting a guy down at Coltiva at 11th and G on Saturday mornings.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a guy on the southeast corner of 11th and G with a hot dog stand.
No, I don't know about this.
Like old school, like a dirty water.
Like a hot dog court. Hot dog cart.
Yeah. Chicago style dogs is what it says. I haven't gotten one yet because I'm always there in the morning, but just FYI.
That doesn't preclude you from or prevent you.
I understand that, but usually I'm there for breakfast, and so hey, look, I like hot dogs.
Chicago dogs can be breakfast if you try hard enough, Steve. If you're committed.
You think who do you think you're talking to? I'm just saying. I noticed it yesterday. I'm like, okay, that's kind of awesome. I'm sticking a pin in that. That's kind of
great.
Chicago dogs. Mm-hmm.
Just a little cart just on the corner by Da Vinci's.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Other side of the street. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good for him.
That's what I'm saying. Get him.
I'm sure there's violating some sort of city code with that, but
I don't know.
I don't care.
I know.
Oh man.
Did we do it? Is that
yeah.
I don't. This is kind of weirdly, all we did was talk about ourselves.
Same as it ever was, dude.
Right, exactly.
I really wanted to unpack that whole like San Francisco trip for you. I appreciate that. I'm really glad we did that because I think that was pretty cool.
It was great. It was really, I highly recommend. if you have the means, it is so choice.
It is so choice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of that, I'll leave you with this. Like, what are you into right now?
Oh yeah.
Last night I watched. There's a documentary on Hulu called Brats. It's Andrew McCarthy decided to make a documentary about the Brat Pack and what that meant to him, and he like goes to find other members of the Brat Pack, like Ali Sheedy. He talks to Ali Sheedy. He talks to John Cryer. He talks to Rob Lowe and Emilio Estevez and Demi Moore. And it's actually like you think it's going to be like just kind of sugar sweet, pop culture.
Well, they all went through some gnarly stuff.
They did. And like, it's also kind of interesting. Like, Andrew McCarthy has this opinion of the writer that dubbed them the Brat Pack. And it's like he's holding on to this resentment. And he actually talks to that writer that he's had this resentment against his whole life.
Uh-huh.
And it's actually Demi Moore that kind of basically tells him, like, basically she says, ain't nobody messing with you but you.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, it was a really wonderful documentary. You think it's gonna be like, oh, let's see where it's gonna be where are they now?
Yeah,
but it ends up being this really interesting spiritual pilgrimage for him. And I highly recommend it.
All right.
You quoted Ferris Bueller's Day Off, so I had to make me think of that.
Andrew McCarthy was in Less Than Zero, right?
Less Than Zero. He was in St. Elmo's Fire. He was in Pretty in Pink. He was Blaine in Pretty in Pink.
I've never seen that.
Are you fucking serious?
Not very often, but in this case, yes. I've never seen Pretty in Pink.
Oh my God. I was just gonna ask you if you were team Blaine or team Ducky, but you won't know what that means.
I don't know what that means, Well,
that's your afternoon assignment.
I gotta go move a shed.
Fuck the shed. How old is this guy? He's gotta have an income that will allow him to hire people to do this.
It's a networking opportunity.
Fuck the shed. You need to move the shed,
then watch Pretty in Pink,
then go dip in the pool, and then for later afternoon, you need to watch Pretty in Pink.
Okay, all right. I'll see what I can do.
Well, I mean, especially
jam packed. Like I have a full schedule today, but
instead of the podcast next Sunday when I am eating Stan's donuts on Sunday morning, you need to be watching Pretty in Pink.
Well, I'll see what I can do. No promises.
What? It's so good. And
is it actually? See, I always thought it was one of the lesser of those John Hughes Brat Pack movies.
No, it's super fucking good. And like, if I tell one of my college students to watch Pretty in Pink, they're going to roll their eyes and be like, yeah, this is a relic. I don't understand any of I don't understand the costumes are dorky and the music is shitty. You're somebody who would appreciate, like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know that era, so you will appreciate it.
So last night I watched Francesca, my 15-year-old, and I watched Swingers.
And what was the review from your 15-year-old?
She liked it. There's a couple parts that even I was like, this is boring. Or like, it just, you can tell it's but there was enough parts that she, and it's got just a bunch of references she would never get. And some situations that are, there's so much like smoking and drinking, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of smoking and drinking.
There's a lot but she really loved the scene.
The answering machine.
Well, yeah, I think that she was kind of like, wait, did that just happen? Because it has such a real feel. Then the answering machine is like, well, wait a minute, that's kind of surreal, Yeah. But the scene that really got her was when they are back at Sue's place with House of Pain. Right?
Yes.
And she just started laughing like, how are those guys there?
Yeah.
So that kind of
that answering machine scene is probably the most uncomfortable 4 or 5 minutes of cinema ever.
Oh yeah, she did not like that. Where Mike was talking to Nikki.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Nikki, I just don't think this is going to work out. I think, it's not you, it's me. Yeah. I thought you were talking about at the very beginning of the movie where the machine's like, there are lots of fish in the sea.
No, the one where he calls her
and then calls her and calls her.
And it keeps cutting him off, and he doesn't, and he's trying to save it. And it's like,
Mike, hey, Have you been listening the whole time? Did you just walk it? Don't ever call me again. Great.
So bad.
It's so bad.
It gives me anxiety just thinking about it.
It's terrible. Yeah.
It's so intense.
She also liked the and you're grown up and you're grown up and you're grown up.
And you're all grown up.
You're all grown up. I'm the asshole. She was like, oh my God. Like that's the response. That's the appropriate response there.
Yes.
Uh-huh. You know what? Mikey's the big winner here today. And she also like a big fucking bear, man. You get these big fucking fangs and claws, and you're just batting at the bunny. You're like, how am I supposed to kill the bunny with these fangs and claws? She thought that was great.
It's pretty good.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Nice.
And I mean, can we just pause for a minute for Heather Graham?
Yeah, I'm racing my coffee mug for Heather Graham, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, on that note.
We won't be potting next week. I will be in Chicago.
Yeah, and I'll be watching Pretty in Pink. Apparently.
You have to give us an update.
I'll give you the whole thing.
You're going to be Team Ducky, I know it. But I feel like,
hey, don't nobody puts baby in a corner.
Maybe in the 80s you would have been Team Ducky. Maybe now you're Team Blaine. I don't know. Blaine? His name is Blaine? You got to watch this.
Okay, fine.
I think it probably doesn't. There's some cultural stuff in there that probably doesn't go well, but you're going to love it.
Okay.
I think you're going to love it.
All right. I'm in. Email us at TTBB podcast at gmail.com and I'll send you a sticker eventually. They're getting low though. We're running low on stickers. So, don't wait. Act now.
Act now.
Follow us on Instagram.
Share with your friends. We want to keep the party going, Music
never stops.
It doesn't.
Nope.
All right. Well, we did it.
All right. Have a good Sunday.
Bye.
Bye. Fire.
Don't forget, toot your hooter.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in just a few minutes. So everybody hang loose.